Hi, everybody. My name's Neal, and I've been teaching SAT, SA for going on 6 or 7 years now. And I've come up with a system to help students get to the score that they want to get to in as little time as possible. The SAT essay is rhetorical analysis essay where students have to read op-ed piece or an editorial, some sort of persuasive article that tries to convince the reader of a particular point of view. And in order to effectively analyze that article for the essay, the students need to pay attention to certain aspects of what is called the rhetorical triangle. The rhetorical triangle is simply the author and the text and the reader. Well, with the template that I've created and the concepts that I teach relating to rhetorical analysis and persuasion, then the students are usually able to get the score that they need to get from 22 to 24. So the template that I use is very simple. It's a 5-paragraph template, sometimes a 4-paragraph template depending on the passage. And students will write 1 paragraph per concept that they see within the essay regarding ethos, pathos, or look. Almost any student writer who's fluent in English can get a 24 on the SAT essay using the system that I've devised. One of the most common mistakes that students make is that they only write about the text and they don't talk about why the text has the effect that it does. So usually explaining logic and how logic actually works and what students need to do to be logical is one of the biggest issues that I usually run into when I'm teaching essay. Another common mistake that they make, I just remembered this, is that students think that they have to use big words and complicated sentences in order to get a good score. They try to add as many words in as complicated sentences, and that's not what the purpose is. And most graders just get frustrated with that because the students aren't always very good at writing, using the words correctly. So they use the words incorrectly, which lowers their score, and then they are not actually doing what they need to do, which further lowers their score. Reading is the most difficult score to increase on the entire test. With some amount of effort and knowledge and practice, most students can improve their math or writing scores up to over 750 on a regular basis. But reading presents a much more challenging task for students because it is more variable depending on the questions. It's more variable from passage to passage, and it really has a lot to do with student attitude and motivation. It's also incredibly difficult to increase student reading comprehension in a short amount of time. Even with a year of practice, students can struggle to improve. One of the biggest issues that students have is that they approach multiple choice questions intuitively rather than methodically, meaning they just do the multiple choice questions without really thinking about how they're doing the multiple choice questions. But there are right ways and wrong ways to do multiple choice. Well, I'm bragging a little bit there, but I think I've perfected a system that removes anything that's not helpful or is extra or doesn't actually contribute to students' improvement and focus specifically on the things that can help students improve their score. Most students, in my experience, are actually pretty good at the writing section because writing is more about a body of knowledge that the student has about grammar. I've identified a few very specific grammar rules that students are maybe not aware of and ways to think about these rules that can cover a large amount of content through practice on the practice tests. But the other part of it that is much more difficult on the writing test is the actual writing questions, like the sentence placements and like, should this be added or deleted, which is less intuitive and requires a little bit more on the reading comprehension side. The writing section is, in my experience, probably the least problematic to improve over everything. One of the benefits of doing reading and writing together is that improving in the reading section and improving reading comprehension and doing the work to improve reading comprehension really helps the writing section as well. So it doesn't really go the other way. If you improve the writing section, it doesn't necessarily help your reading score, but if you improve your reading score, it does help your writing score because you have a better sense of how the mechanics of the grammar work.